mercredi soir, 9h, un rendez-vous unique et spécial avec PBR, Penco, Bouboule et Rupipa à Meli-Melo. Analyse, interview, débat, interaction, promotion, marketing, sport, musique, éducation, tout ça qu'a fait dans Etimaela. Couverture d'événements en live. Celle de l'émission qu'on pas de rater pour rien au monde. Émission qui soudée à Kitty la Caillou. Meli Papa. Meli-Melo. Chaque lundi 9h. Dans la soirée sur Radio Grâce FM 103.3. SCA Radio Moment. Radio Moment.
Bonsoir, chers amis auditeurs de Meli-Melo. La petite tout le monde, bonsoir, bienvenue. Et merci parce que nous répondons à l'appel jeudi lundi, comme d'habitude. Et nous dit nous bonsoir. Jeudi, nous avons un panel d'écrivains, monde qui écrit livres là, et une belle demoiselle là, qui font une belle souris là dans l'émission. Et nous pourrons présenter tout à l'heure. En attendant, avant de commencer tout, nous avons un tirage tout petit. Et sous ça passé pour week-end là. Mais avant, nous commençons et nous présenté nous et nous quitté quoi dans Penco qui va le faire représentant alors parce que je connais monsieur pressé là pour le parler. En tout cas, bonsoir Penco, bienvenue encore.
Et un gros bonsoir ensemble avec tout auditeur, auditrice, internaute nous et n'a dit merci à et la femme à la plume qui n'a mis nous là et puis nous avons deux autres qui a pas sous l'inclan. N'a dit bienvenue dans l'émission par là, émission que vous toujours attendre et nous espérer que à non seulement nous allons passer un bon moment mais nous espérer participation tout pour capable vraiment montrer inviter nous que vous t'es vraiment attendre et ou apprécier le travail que a fait à qui c'est écrire parce que j'en connais tout ça n'a dit tout ça n'a fait c'est par rapport à l'écriture et voilà donc nous gagnons des monde qui est by tête yo et ça nous t'a dit comme devoir pour yo continuer avec écrit. Et c'est un bagage que non seulement nous-mêmes, dans Radio Grâce et puis dans Meli-Melo, nous apprécions. C'est une raison que nous toujours venir ensemble avec Mounsao pour nous bailler non seulement respect, mais pour nous encourager, continuer à écrire parce que ou pas qu'à apprendre rien sans vraiment pas gagner un monde qui te pensil, sans vraiment pas gagner un monde qui te gagne temps well, et ou même tout, ou capable de faire ça si ou voulez écrire ou qu'à continuer à écrire parce que là, dans Radio Grâce, et puis, émission Meli-Melo, c'est ça lié. C'est montrer valeur que vraiment nous apprécions parce que en pile fois, les Haïtiens pas apprécier valeur, mais nous-mêmes, dans Radio Grâce, nous voulons faire la différence côté que nous montré que nous apprécions valeur et valeur eux-mêmes, il y a prend tout ça que vous capable de joindre dans nous-mêmes sur Radio Grâce et puis émission Meli-Melo. Bienvenue à vous-même et bienvenue à toutes et nous t'avons dit et invitez-nous. Alors, Rupipa,
Oui.
moi en peint pas à ce là, ou content, ou bien encadré.
La recevoir belle demoiselle dans le studio, vous comprenez. En tout cas, et pour nous dire, et mon ça, c'est que nous avons un writer là, un écrivain, qui c'est Joanne Telsid Bryant. Et la une petite question en créole, bien entendu, ben, il fait nous connaître que la pour nous en anglais. So, nous pas un problème ici là, on nous parle tout.
Non, je vous dis, créole n'est pas monté highway.
Okay, so qui est-ce qui Joanne Telsid Bryant? Can you tell me a little bit about you?
Yes. So I am first generation Haitian. As you know, I live in the community. I'm an educator, and I love the fact that I teach all grades. I have several certifications in education, from speech pathology to special education to ESOL, as well as I said special education and speech pathology. I did say that. So what I am teaching now is ESOL, and I love it because as a first generation Haitian American, I get to work with students who are Haitian, Haitian descent, as well as a large population of Hispanics as well. And a lot of times they don't even know that they're also first generation Americans. So that's something that I get to teach in the school. So who is Joanne Telside Bryant? I am an author, a children's book author. I'll talk a little bit more about that. But for first and foremost, as my profession, I'm an educator and I'm a mom. Personally, I'm a mom of two beautiful children.
Mm-hmm. So, what pushes you to write this
Okay.
children book instead of
Alrighty.
adults, or
Yeah.
what's exactly what motivated you
Okay.
to write the children's book?
So I'll tell you when I got started during the pandemic. So I'll talk about this book is my latest book here, which is becoming very popular in the bookstores. It's called I'm Just Dying to Be Queen Bee. It's a story about self-determination. This is the first story that I wrote during the pandemic in 2020, but I did not release it until April 2023. So the question, what motivates me to write? As a teacher, I'm very passionate about the students that I teach. I teach students, again, who speak multiple languages, and with a background in speech pathology and special education. I teach students who have difficulty learning. They have learning disabilities, coupled with the fact that they speak multiple languages. So I provide a differentiated, different modes and means of reaching my students. And therefore, during the pandemic, when we were all locked down and teaching from home, I myself escaped in writing these imaginary stories that built in vocabulary, grade level vocabulary, as well as critical thinking and comprehension questions, so that the students who I was teaching at home would have a comprehensive way of learning grade level content. And I also made the stories a lot of fun for the students to motivate them to read. So my passion, my mission is to provide students with a way to express themselves. Now that we are back in the school system, past the pandemic, post-pandemic, a lot of our students came back into the schools very angry, and they were fighting with each other, and they didn't understand how to communicate. So I write books that are themed with growth mindset themes. So what does that mean? It means how to solve problems in a positive way. So in teaching young children to do this very young, it alleviates students feeling defeated in the classroom when they are addressing other students and teachers. And it also helps students to feel confident about their education, especially those students who speak multiple language where English is not their first language.
Wow.
I said a lot there. I'll break it down in a minute.
Yeah. Right before we continue with the the question, I want to stay on your interest of writing the book to
Mhm,
piggyback from Rupipa.
mhm.
You wrote the book just for the kids, and from your background, we can see that you deal with a lot of kids and different background, different language speaker,
Mhm.
and the main question is that your book is out there. Is the school gonna use that book, or the kids gonna be able to read your book if they probably have a chance to buy it, like their parent buy the book for them, or this is a book that you present to the school board, and the school board really realize that this is a book that they need to use, and such and such grade.
Okay.
Is this the idea, or you just wrote the book just for the kids to find it at the library?
Okay. So twofolds. I wrote the book. Well, this one, I have five. I'll talk about each in just a minute. But the first one that I wrote was, again, like I said, during the pandemic to help the students that I was teaching online. I also owned a tutoring company. And as part of speech therapy, when I conduct speech therapy online or tutoring online, I incorporated what I use during my education sessions. And what is ironic is now that I'm back in the classroom, I have a very supportive principal and administration team. They allow me to use the stories, the books that I have written to reach my students. Now, I am currently teaching 8th grade. And because I'm teaching students who speak multiple languages, the level of vocabulary that I use in the book is appropriate for even middle school students. And it teaches my books, again, like I said, they are themed growth mindset, how to solve problems, and critical thinking skills that a lot of our students kind of lost during the pandemic because they were not receiving formal education at the time. They were home. A lot of them were doing homeschooling, which was not, they were not used to. So my stories always provide that theme to help students to, again, solve problems and different types of social, emotional learning strategies. For example, self-determination, as well as self-reliance, self-assurance. And you would say, well, that sounds boring. All of these skills that we learn from a young age with with our family and friends, and also in school, with students missing that during the pandemic. And again, with families who are probably not involved, our kids resort to lots of fighting. And when there's fighting and strife in the classroom, someone like me as a teacher, I can't teach. So the kids, I use my books. My students are able to see, one, they think it's very cool that they think their teacher is famous. So that's one thing that they enjoy. And another thing is, even though that they're in 8th grade, again, the level of vocabulary that is in the book is very helpful, and it helps them to feel confident when they're reading it, because we can always apply the skills and the critical thinking that I write in my children's book to real life events. So it's a children's book, it's a fictional story. This one is about a honeybee that wants to be queen bee, and the self-determination that she has to go through and change the hierarchy of the honey hive. But I also incorporate, science into it and things like that, and the importance of pollination, which is, all educational stuff. However, I always relate it back to real life events, again, based on something that is so simple as a story about a honeybee. So I relate it to real life events, and then students begin to talk about how they can better themselves or better communicate with other students and not resort to fighting. A lot of things parents don't understand, and a lot of our students don't understand, especially in 8th grade when they are fighting. We do have an officer that works at the school, and depending on the type of fight that they have, they do get arrested, and it's, they get a record, yes, in public school. So you would think something as simple as reading a children's book is doing a whole lot more, and that's what it is that I am doing.
I think it's time for us to let you present all your 5 books, because we don't want to stay on just one.
Yes.
If you don't mind, anytime you presenting the book, you can face it to the camera,
Okay.
as our internet can see
Okay.
the title, and if they're interested to go ahead and pick up their own book, that
Okay.
would be fine, and get their book for the kids, and get their book in the house.
And also, I wanted to add, if there's a place where they can find the book,
Okay.
I
I'll
will
talk
be
about
happy
that.
for you to, to
Mhm.
let them know exactly, if there's a website, if there's a place.
Mhm.
And Barnes and Noble, I don't know which one, but you're welcome to let them know exactly what to do.
All right. I will start with the very first to the latest one that I have published. So this book is called Nelly's BFF. I usually write my inspiration on the back cover, my inspiration of the reason why I wrote the book. So the very first one, this is an easy read, which is for early literacy. So I have a variety of reading skill ranges. So this is a very low range. It's for beginning reading. Kindergarten, 1st grade students. It comes with a Lexile level. Again, that's all education language, just to let parents know if this is the correct vocabulary or level for their children. So very easy read. It talks about, it's based off of my daughter, Nelly's BFF. She has a BFF dog, and they go out exploring together and the things that they do. My books also come with vocabulary terms so that it helps the students feel confident, and a set of comprehension questions. Next, because I wrote a book about my daughter, my son got jealous and wanted a book for himself. So I wrote a book that's based on Josh, and this book is called I'm Going to Big School. It won 2 awards, one from the Book Fest and another one from Literary Titan. Again, it's an early read for children entering kindergarten. This is a really good seller as well, because when I'm out in the community, the kids who are starting kindergarten, they love this book. It does have my inspiration written on the back cover, and it depicts my son's first account of entering big school. I had the pleasure of working at the school at the time, so I really got to see him and peek in on what he was doing, and then I captured that into a story.
Very good.
Okay. Next, book number 3 is also doing well, and it won 2 awards as well from Bookfest, and became a finalist for the Children's Book International. So this one is called No, I Am Not, says Kenny the Koala. It is a story about social emotional learning. And this book helps to teach kids how to manage their emotions. So after the pandemic, the school boards did a really good job pushing what's called social emotional learning skills to help students communicate better instead of fighting, as I mentioned before. So this book here is ranged from kindergarten's 1st, 2nd grade reading level. The fourth book, which I don't have my award seal on this, did win an award as well. And I was asked by a community here in Georgia to present a holiday book. So I wrote this holiday book, which is also a winner, The Best Time of the Year, which depicts school students who put on a show for family and friends. So it talks about friendship, camaraderie, putting a plan together and working together. So this one does very well during the holidays as I go out and have story time. And my latest one that I started out with, that I introduced first, is I'm Just Dying to Be Queen Bee. And my middle school students are actually having a lot of fun with this one as well. It does have a higher lexile level, a higher degree of vocabulary, and it is centered for students beginning grade 2 to 5. And again, my middle schoolers are enjoying it. So I will continue to write books. Again, the theme, I will keep saying that, is growth mindset. And you hear that a lot, even